Precious trauma, it lingers forever. Precious trauma is who we
Let me correct
are.
that. The first of many. My name is K-pop, and I got my sidekick Johnny from the block. Johnny, say what's up.
What's up? How we doing, everybody? Ready to talk about our feelings, who touched us when we were children, how we're going to get revenge, and what's going to go on and how we're dealing with trauma in our adult lives.
Hope you're ready for it. Hope you're ready for it. It's gonna be a fun, bumpy, emotional, decompressing, soothing, laughing, just so many emotions, and reach one and teach one. That is our main thing.
I like that. Reach one and teach one. That's hot.
Yeah,
High five.
thank you, Johnny. Thank you. I'm sitting in my car because I have a lot of kids, and this is the only quiet place for me. So, I really hope you guys enjoy, and we welcome you as family for our listeners.
Absolutely. We're going to do some good things here. And just to bring up, we started this, me and K-pop started this because we wanted a way to express, express the frustrations of, dealing with things we deal with in our age of being over over 40.
Listen, we're not, we don't say our ages.
Over 25.
Over 25.
The other side of
Coffee.
25. And the difficulties we go through it, because you know what? Everybody's talking about ADHD. Everybody's talking about, it's TikTok's been great. It's brought to life a lot of things that, we didn't know what was wrong with us till we got a diagnosis later on.
You like some
By
drugs?
now, they don't want to give us the drugs anymore to feel better. So we had to find other ways to make ourselves feel better and how we deal with ADHD.
Yeah. I mean, when were you diagnosed, Johnny?
3 years ago, but I remember now, we were coming up before the Ritalin craze started hitting.
Mm-hmm.
And hyperactivity disorder, or, children with too much energy was like, I was a plum candidate for that. I missed that by like 4 years. So I think it's probably better that my grandmother took away the sugar and decided, hey, he's just too hyper or he's just going to be an actor when he grows up, one or the other. That was their excuse for it. But yeah, 3 years ago, we got the final diagnosis saying, hey, take this test. We want to see why you fidget and twitch so much while you're talking. And sure as shit, ADHD to compress with my dyslexia, my anxiety, and my episodes of mania and manic depression. So, yes.
Well, I'm an ADHDer too. So this is why our show is going to work so perfect. Just heads up, we'll probably be late to a lot of things like we were tonight. Um, that is the one major issue. I have time paralysis. So I was diagnosed with ADHD last year, but I know I've had it my entire life because everything is just making sense to what just the little things like um, the procrastination, being late, delaying, losing track of time, getting lost in ADHD holes, going down the rabbit hole, just, switching things often, not finishing things, taking on tasks, like I've had so many fucking hobbies, um, never fucking finished them. Never fucking finished them. I've started so many diets, never finished them. I have such hard time completing tasks, and if I do not like it, I am not fucking with it. You know, I'm not fucking with it. Like, it's been rough. I do take medicine, which helps a lot. But it does. Anyone that knows me knows that I am late to every fucking thing, and I have friends that lie to me about the times that I have to be there so I can be there on time, but I still don't make it on time. I'm never on time. Everyone hates me. My fucking family hates me for it. Every freaking family holiday that I gotta go to, that I show up 2 hours late to, everyone's rolling their eyes. You can never make it on fucking time. Blah blah blah. So it's a lot of things that I deal with ADHD, and I really have been educating myself and making sense of my life. So, you know,
Speaking of ADHD, while you were talking, my phone went off and I went right there, started scrolling.
I know.
It's
I'm
just,
like,
it's perfect timing, and it's like building
this
off
is
of
a
what you
perfect
said.
example.
Prime, building off what you said. For me, it's the object permanence, which is out of sight, out of mind. Like if you're not here in front of me right now, I forget. And
Oh yeah, dude,
when
me too. Me too.
when you talk about a project, like having to look at spreadsheets, and me being in commercial sales, food sales, I'm like looking at like things I have to do, and I would choose between looking through a spreadsheet and doing data entry, or hammering my hands with a hammer and just like breaking my fingers, and they seem equal to me at the same time. I mean, the Adderall helps. It helps. But the Adderall doesn't hit the same way for me each time. Either I'll get
No, it
focused.
doesn't. Sometimes I have to double up, though.
Yep, I'll get focused or I'll fall asleep. One or the other. It's like my first coffee of the day. Same thing for you, K-pop. Like when you have your first coffee, sometimes it hits great and you got this energy and focus. Or I'm going to take a nap for 2 hours because it just made me extremely tired and I got to go back to sleep for a little while and shake it off.
No, totally. Like, I can have 6 cups of coffee and fucking pass out. Like, I feel like coffee doesn't fucking work for me. Like, I literally go to Starbucks or any fucking where, and I get 5 espresso shots in a medium iced coffee. Okay, 5. All right, and
And that's just to get through the morning.
this is just to get through. But I think it's more of a mental get through because it's not fucking doing a fucking thing. I'm not
Nope.
like at this point, I need cocaine in the IV. Okay,
Well, listen, it depends on how good it was, because back in the day when we weren't so good, when we were
when
young,
we were, oh god,
many, many,
you
many
know,
years ago,
back in
as
the
most
'80s,
people have,
the
there was
'80s COVID.
times, yeah, back there was times where there would be a moment, it'd be like, oh, this is great, or
Oh
like,
yeah,
how are you knocking out over a bumpy wumpy? And it's like, it depends on how it hits.
yeah, because it was
Same thing
trash.
it is today. Now, forget about it. If I had 40 food,
Blech.
40 food, over 25, way over 25, if I would
Uh-huh.
ever think about even doing something like that right now, I would just immediately have a heart attack of anxiety, just
Oh,
thinking about the idea of the repercussions of it. So, fear is going to get me.
yeah. I mean, we had our fun. We partied like rock stars. Um, I'm still a rock star, just a tamed rock star.
You are a fucking champion, is what you are. Okay? This bitch over here, let me tell you folks, this bitch over here, my bitch, and nobody else can call her a bitch because she's my bitch, is a human being. I'm going to tell a little bit of your bio because I'm always impressed about you and how you did things. Had two
I'm blushing.
had 2 kids, later in life, decided, I'm going back to school, gets a degree, has twins, gets her man together, family, supports her mom, and does this for years and years while working and going to school and doing and holding down her family. Like, and she did it. This wasn't doing something that you could do at 25 or at 32. She was, how old were you when you went
I
back?
was 34. I was 34. I went through a traumatic experience that I will talk about in later podcast
Sure.
episodes. But shit went down. It was a life changing event, and it changed my life. For the better. I wound up having twins at 3 months. Went back to college, Westchester Community College. I didn't drive when I was up in New York. I didn't even have a license, so I took 2 buses. I lived in Austin, New York at the time, and I took 2 buses every fucking day. Rain, snow, sleet, hail. Like that shit was not easy. Like I would sometimes take Ubers, and like my daughter to this day, she has Juliet. She has motion sickness, and I remember I was taking a final for history final, and I was taking a math final, and it was 30 degrees. It was winter. I had a velour sweatsuit on, but I had her in the Uber. I had her on like one of those baby carriers, and as soon as we hit Westchester Community College, she throws up her whole entire formula all over me. So we know that fucking stinks. Milk fucking stinks, you know?
Yeah.
So, and it is cold. I fucking ripped that shit off, started washing out the sweatsuit in the fucking bathroom of the daycare on Westchester Community College campus. And I was crying. It was cold. I still smelled. I walked up to the history teacher. I was like, "Listen, I can't sit in the class. I'm still dedicated to getting my final taken care of. I'm embarrassed, but I want to pass." So he sat me outside. He was like, "Don't go near me, you fucking stink." And it was the worst. But like that's what I did the whole semester for that final. Like there was nothing stopping me. And then I went to the math class teacher. She let me pass. She was like, "You can come back tomorrow." I was like, "Okay." But all in all, it was so hard. I wanted to give the fuck up. I
Yep.
wanted to give up so much. It was one of the most excruciating but fucking beneficial. I miss being in school. I want to go back to school. It was the best thing ever. I met so many amazing people, and I got to walk across the fucking stage. I didn't get to walk across the stage for high school because I got my GED, and it was the most amazing feeling
And
ever.
listen, you earned
And if I could fucking do that shit, so many people can go back to school. So many young people can get through it. It is a lot harder when you have kids, and I have a lot. I have four, man. So it's fucking hard. And anyway, P.S. I got a degree in criminal justice, and I am a paralegal.
boom. But I mean,
Got a
that's
paralegal?
like I love hearing about that because I look at you as inspiration for changes I made in my life. I mean, I was in food service most of my life. I didn't get my GED. I got my high school diploma when I was 29. I got my degree in
Congrats, baby.
associates in hospitality online.
He's the fucking best. So
I
I just have
think
to
it.
say that.
I'm pretty sure it might have been a fake school, but everybody I've been going to work for has been accepting it, so it doesn't really matter. I already paid for it. So.
Hello, I was your teacher.
But it's like when we talk about ADHD, we have deficits, but we also have superpowers when it comes down to it too. Now we see when you're younger, and I see all these kids talking about it, and they're and I say kids is anybody under 30. To me, in my mind, is a kid. I became my grandfather, so everybody under a certain age is a kid. And I see them going through these things and dealing with a lot of issues. And what I've learned and started in business well before this started becoming a trend is when I was managing in a sample department in a certain company that I won't mention, but it rhymes with Bost Go, and we were doing samples there, and we had a lot of younger people coming in for for the summers, and I loved hiring them because their energy was fantastic. It fluctuated. It fluctuated like mine did. Everybody just thought I was crazier on drugs, but no, not yet, not at that time. It just turns out it was the ADHD. So for me, it was excellent in a crisis situation. I'm a fantastic problem solver. You can give me a topic, I can spit out to you 15, well, let's be reasonable, 5 reasonable options to attack that problem and go through it. Now, my problem with that, though, is to follow up.
The follow through. The follow
Yeah,
through. Like,
follow through.
I want to give everybody the world and my follow through. I want to do so many things and my follow through. I'm right there with you, Johnny.
Yeah.
Like, it fucking sucks.
Yeah, it
Okay?
does.
It fucking sucks. Like, I want to do this. I want to do so many fucking things. Like, and I just don't follow through. Like, and I mean well. I have such good intentions, and the follow through, man, that fucking follow through, and just keeping up with everything. And
Yeah. Well, you have a lot more on your plate than the average person. See, I can't compare me to you because you have a
like,
constant revolving ball of stress that just moves from time to time, inch by inch. So your follow through, if it's lacking, is more acceptable and understandable, but still a cause of ADHD. And
yeah. I mean, but you got a lot going on too, John. Like, you're the fucking man, bro. You make it happen. Like,
I pop
you
up.
are.
Yeah.
Let me tell you real quick though. Like, this man has raised his sister into a beautiful person, like has given his sister the world. He will take his shirt off his back. He has helped so many people. And he is one of the most driven workers I have ever fucking met in my life. We've worked together quite a few times.
Yeah, we really did.
Um,
Chrissy, you know
and
what we do? We gotta go map it again.
map it again. And the fucking guy in the tree.
Map it again. But I
Map it
just mopped the
again.
bathroom. Go map it again, he says.
Yeah, that was the fucking gas station we worked at, Shell, on Central Avenue in Yonkers.
Jesus.
But I don't know, Johnny. Like, what about ADHD and sex for you?
80. Well, you know what? That part I don't seem to. I was looking for this the other day when we were talking about the topic, and my focus is good. Like when it feels good, the focus is a lot easier. But I do find myself having moments in the process, depending on whatever role I'm playing at the moment. But I get a little lost, or I forget what I'm doing, or if I'm having
You
a little
start
bit
thinking
of
of other things. I've fucking done that
issues.
before. I have done that before. I'm like, all of a sudden I start thinking about this fucking project I have to do, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm like,
everything's going great. Talk dirty to me. I forgot to put the laundry in the dryer. Oh fuck yeah! It's like oh.
or, or, or. I mean, I'm a very sexual person. ADHD. I lean more towards the sexual side. Like, like I'm a habitual masturbator. I've been since I was 5.
Mm-mm.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what the fuck. I used to give it up for Lent. Never worked. But
That would make me hate Lent.
I think I lasted like 3 days, maybe. I was like in fucking third grade, bro. Like, I remember. And you know, I get bored very easy though, and that's the other thing. So like I never like I don't know, like I change hair colors constantly. Like, if it makes sense, like high expectations is for me when it comes to sex, because I require that, unfortunately, because I've been so sexual within myself. So, like, I can fucking please myself, no
Yeah,
problem. So, it's not that easy for someone else to do the same.
absolutely. Nobody, and you got to really be connected. To me, insects, it's I enjoy like the things that I enjoy about it is a little bit different than some people do. I don't really know. There depends on how I'm feeling that day. Like, am I going to be a giving lover today? Am I going to, look to bust, or am I going to look to make sure that the other person's like really feeling their best? Like, there's different moments for me, and depending on what vibe I'm feeling that moment. But the Mayo Clinic says that compulsive sexual behavior is sometimes called hypersexuality or sexual addiction. It's an intense focus on sexual fantasies, urges, and behaviors that can't be controlled. Tends to be higher prevalence in people with ADHD. So, not an excuse for anybody who's porking somebody else behind somebody's back, but this pattern does fall into that category of needing to be that type of compulsive behavior that fits into it. So, again, we're really good. Like, I'm really good in bed. Like,
Oh, me too.
I know
Me
I know
too.
K-pop's really good in bed too. I'm not gonna tell you how I know, but I know. I can't.
Johnny.
We have shared more than funny stories over the years, and anybody who's
We've,
watching
uh,
this.
yeah, we've shared people too.
Hmm. Before we go
Those,
further, let me just get out there that anybody that you hear about us talking about, friends, history, or anything, we're not going to be talking anybody specifically names. If you think we're talking about you, might not be, because chances are we've done the same thing multiple times. So it's
yeah, and if you think we're talking about you, we're not going to mention your name. So we probably are talking about you.
absolutely. And if you have a problem with that, well, we're not saying who you are and not giving specifics.
Yeah, nobody will know. All names will be changed.
Absolutely.
Like, I got stories to tell, so I'm gonna fucking tell them.
Listen,
But I don't tell on no one. Let me
nope, and not to
let me
this
clear
day.
that out. I
Listen,
take shit to the grave.
every DL I went through in my 20s, teens, and 30s, never going to hear from me. Never going to say it. Never pops out.
Yeah,
Never does.
I mean, same thing. Like, shit, take everything to the grave. Like any part of my sexual business, I don't fucking spit. I'm not one of those people.
No.
But yeah, I just think that's between me and them. And another topic I wanted to touch base with: can you disconnect from feelings with sex with ADHD? Like, to me, like, sex is a feeling. What I'm saying, I said it wrong.
No,
Sex
I
is a
think you did.
feeling. I
Yeah.
don't put emotion into it. Like,
Correct.
I know how to not put emotion into it. Like, it's just a feeling.
No,
Like,
that's a great freaking topic. That's amazing. Yeah, that's freaking fantastic.
because like it's kind of like putting up a wall. You just want to get your nut. You know, you don't want to get attached. It's like fuck it. And go on with your day. You know, because at some points of life you're not. That's what you want. You don't want to be in a relationship. You don't want to, be with someone. And people have different views on that. But like, I can absolutely, you know, flip it off, and not connect with that and just connect with the purpose of sex.
Just on the physical and the idea of the intimacy and the physical nut, not the emotional connection. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's become more and more as I've gotten older. And, having the same partner for 12 years and then, not having the most active life, things change, relationships change, parameters of relationships change, and everything's on a spectrum now, which is great for us. I wish the spectrum shit was here 20 years ago. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, it would have made more sense to things.
yeah, and I wouldn't have felt as bad about myself for doing the things I did, but at the same time, I'm not taking responsibility. I'm just saying that it's not as it was. Sex has evolved. Not the act, but the parameters of what we view it has evolved over the years. And I give this last couple of generations a lot of credit because they have really been the champions of free sex and a free spectrum understanding of what that type of relationship status is. I
Oh
know.
yeah, like sex, like shit is fucking opened up like crazy.
Yeah,
Like, people are so much more comfortable. So people are so much more open. We've had everybody come out. There's so much more acceptance. Um, because we're all humans at the end of the day. You know,
I think.
we're
I
all
think. Yeah.
humans,
Well, Chrissy, you're a
and
mom, and we're not going to go specifics, but like, if you had children who came to you, and like, I have a friend that said something about she was worried her kid was gay or something like that, and I said, honestly, don't sweat it till they're 20, 21, 22. If they're still there then yeah, okay. But a lot of times, it's a lot of experimentation going on right now that turns into nothing later on. But
I've experimented with girls. I think girls are fucking beautiful. Do I consider myself bi? Absolutely, but I would never be in a relationship with a girl because I think I'd fight them. To be honest with you, like I don't know how I would handle that. Like, bitch, who you talking to? You
I've
know?
experimented with girls too. I understand what you mean. You see one or two things.
Um, no, I definitely agree with that. Like, we have expanded. We have opened up many parameters of sexuality.
Yeah,
Now, and it's been wild.
it's been a while. I feel though there's some of me that has a little bit of tiny regret about not about the amount of bodies I got, but we are in the high triple digits.
I don't even know.
Listen. I had to one. Well, I remember it was
I don't even know.
2009.
I wouldn't even sit there to pick my brain to think about it all. Like
In
I would,
2000, yeah,
I would sit there and forget the count.
2009. I wrote it down because I was trying to do an accountability when I turned 29 when my mom died, and I was just doing a whole life
R.I.P.
accountability thing.
Lorraine.
And yeah, and I was like, you know what? How many partners have I had? And it's like, then you have to try to remember the drunk one night stands. And I couldn't even remember the person. I could only remember a couple of things on that evening. And I was like, I came out of it, to be perfectly blunt, with chlamydia once, and that was it. And
I've never caught a STD ever, and like I'm surprised because I should have. Like,
now I know what
'cause,
to get you for
like
Christmas.
I can't even believe I dodged any bullets like that. To be honest with you, like I take that with like I'm fucking proud of that because I beat the statistics. Like
It's a statistic. And it
so.
was just yeah. So I was talking. I was counting. It was like something like 340. And this is not a brag. This is not a brag, and that leads into what we're talking about. This Precious Trauma podcast is. These are things that I refuse to be ashamed of, but I'm not proud of them at the same time. They're just things that happened in my life and part of my journey and part of my experience. And the same thing for K-pop. These are our experiences. Just because you hear us making jokes about it or talking about it or laughing with it, the stress
I've
that
had plenty of bad ones. Like I'm just shedding light on the fun part. you know.
exactly, yeah. And for me, it's just like I don't have pride, I don't have shame. It's just things that happened.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I take full accountability for
100%.
fucking around. I mean, especially like my whole eras were definitely like in between relationships and hurt and pain. Because
Yeah,
like I've always been in fucking long relationships. So like getting out of one and like just because I wanted to hurt men.
yeah,
You know. So and I think that's where that detachment came from. Like where I could be like, "Tuh, don't fucking call me again. Like
yeah. And that's
so.
exactly it. Yeah,
But I mean,
you
at
want
this
to be
point.
in control.
I mean, sexuality is sexuality. Like I got friends that are swingers. I got friends of all kinds of things, and there's so many things that I want to do too. Like I have bucket list, but we'll talk about that.
That'll be another episode when we explore into the inner depth focus of what we want in our 40s. But 40s. Let's move on to a favorite topic that everybody likes to talk about. But me and K-pop have been in competition over the years about a certain specific thing we can do, and who does it better. And
We are the champions.
you're you fucking crazy. Oh, that tickled. All right, I felt. Oh, sorry.
I bet.
Hold on, is it a heart attack? No, all right, it's good. Yeah, so we're talking about fellatio, cunnilingus, and the difference between the male and the female aspects of it. And I would say that homegirl right here, I think, is the only that I know of woman that what's the proper scientific way to say this? Beat that meat that's on the street till it's neat. Okay? Like a champ. Like a champ.
Like a champ. Like a fucking champ. I don't know. It was just something like I get off on pleasing people, and that is a part of sex, and I like that to be reciprocated because if you're not doing that, I'm not fucking with you, and
Mm.
because then I won't touch you, and but yeah, I mean, you gotta work that gag reflex. You gotta, I don't know. I start thinking about other things.
Yeah.
Doing it, like I'm like, oh, the dragon coaster. And I'm like, don't choke, don't choke.
Or my favorite, if it's some of those other fellers that are a little bit, it's like, right here, it's like, oh my god, come
Your
on
fucking
already.
jaw starts to hurt. Yo, you
Yeah.
be sitting there like holding your fucking head,
Yeah,
like,
it's just like, I'm gonna get this. I'm not gonna let it die. I'm gonna
can
change.
you fucking come already?
It
Fucking
is.
sitting there with fucking mascara and boogers coming out of my nose, like.
And it's always the best part is like if there's a surprise. A true gentleman will warn you.
Do you spit or swallow?
It depends.
Yeah, no, it depends on who it is.
It depends on who. There's only one person that I would ever, and you know who that is, and I'm not going to say his name because his parents are probably going to watch this, but that would be the only person that I ever actually was a fun thing to do, and that was it. But for everybody else, it was like it changed. It evolved when I was younger. I just wanted somebody to like me, so I'm a class 5 people pleaser. So I would
Yeah,
do
me
things
too.
that,
That's what it is. People pleasing.
yeah, I would do things
Dick
that
sucking is people pleasing. We're
literally.
people pleasers.
You like him a
Yeah.
little bit? Is it good? What, you say I'm a good boy? Okay, great. Yeah, all right.
I'm
Just
like,
a
oh.
little validation. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
mean, and then you learn your little tricks here and there. I
Mhm.
remember the first time I fucking tasted nut. Ugh, it was fucking disgusting. I was like 16. I remember it. I was up in, we went on a road trip to Poughkeepsie. We were in a fucking Eddie Bauer Jeep
Expedition.
expedition.
I
And,
remember the story.
I was doing a thing. Then he's like, I'm about to nut. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get up. And this motherfucker holds my head down. That was the first time I ever tasted it. I fucking threw up. I was like, this was a bitter, gross, bleh, bleh.
Ah,
But then, I mean, I was young. I was not
yeah,
seasoned. It was like, ew.
yeah.
But,
That's the thing. Well, your first are better than mine. I mean, I was 16 and the guy was 26, which now I realize is a sexual assault. But at the time, it wasn't. But it was also my first time, and I, been thinking about this for years because I was, hypersexual very early. So I was thinking about this for years and years and years of like, I finally got to it, and I'm like, I'm into this, I'm doing it, and right all over. And I learned that you cannot eat, what was it, Cocoa Pebbles and milk, 3 bowls, and a Gatorade before you're going to perform any type of situation like that. And yeah, he was
have you thrown up
understanding.
on a dick? Have you thrown up on a dick before?
Yeah, the first time.
That's when you threw up. Okay, I'm sorry. I missed that. Okay, that was
First
cereal
time.
and all that shit?
And it
Fuck.
was so trying, and it went from his chin to it. But I'll give him credit. He was so sweet. I felt so awful, but he was so sweet about it.
I
He
know.
was
It's
like,
like, don't worry. Like, what do you mean, don't worry? Like, honestly, like, I've thrown up and swallowed it back up, not to embarrass myself.
yeah, no. Oh, well, listen, the things we do just not to be embarrassed about it.
Like, I was like, bleh. So, I mean, one day, dick sucking challenge.
But that leads us into the next topic, and there's one for personally for me. And so part of the ADHD, part of the anxiety I had going through my adulthood and manifesting was the inability to keep social engagements with the friends and the people you care about. And for me, and I don't know if you remember, Chrissy, when we were catching a siphon in a certain person's house that lived on the first floor with the cats, we would smoke, and then as soon as we smoke, I would disappear for an hour, come back, and then be good. And that was
Absolutely.
every fucking time because
You just really fucking brought it back. He is
yeah,
not lying. He
yeah.
is not fucking lying. To be like, where the fuck did John go?
And quietly, I would do the Irish goodbye. I would say, I'm going to the bathroom, sneak out the door, sober up a little bit. There's always that first hit of the day that got me. Afterwards, I'm fine. But it was after that, it's like the anxiety hit for that first hour of being around people and just, not being able to feel comfortable because I spent a lot of my time masking who I was
We
based
were.
on what I thought everybody else wanted me to be. And I still do that. I still do that. But I got a better understanding of it now where I'm not as afraid to be myself. And sometimes myself is a bitch. And
Yeah.
sometimes myself is moody, and we have those moments, and I try to, work through it, not be passive aggressive and take it out on the other people's. But again, social engagements, inviting to party like Chrissy is a perfect example. I went down to Florida, had this whole plan. I'm going to come over there.
With yes, yeah, like
We go see
totally drove past. I was in Jacksonville with our other
literally,
best friends.
literally avoided it, drove past Jacksonville on the way to Orlando, and came up with a series of bullshit excuses because I was just having anxiety about hanging out for
No,
no
I
reason.
listen, but I understand. I cancel so many plans. Like you have
Yeah.
no idea. Like I I'm like all for it, and then I'm like,
We get the dopamine hits from talking about it.
yeah,
And
like that's we search for dopamine. That's another thing. We lack dopamine, so we're always searching for it. You know,
yeah,
and but then when the whole thought process it becomes overwhelming. Like going out, getting ready sometimes, meeting with people. What are they gonna think? I don't really because sometimes I'm so extroverted, but there's so many times that I need to be alone because I'm
yeah.
overstimulated, and sometimes I'd rather just sit on my couch.
The biggest addiction I have that I'm dealing with in my later in life times now is the rot in bed syndrome. Because just sitting there in bed watching TV, and I could feel bad and lonely and want to see people and text, but now you just have Instagram, a TikTok, a Facebook
Doom
Messenger.
scrolling, doom
Yeah,
scrolling.
and just sit there and be comfortable in that bubble for 3 hours, and by the time I come out of it, I realize, oh, everybody's
Yeah,
either asleep or gone or not interested anymore, and then you go that cycle of back and forth of wanting to get out and be with people, and at the same time, people, I don't want to be bothered with them because I don't want to, do anything.
yeah, yeah. Like I get the same way. Like I have to take rides by myself. Like I have fucking hella people in my house. Like all the kids. I live with my mother. I work with my mother. Like one of my mother lives with me. We live together.
Mm.
So that like it's tough. And I doom scroll sometimes to get away, and then I get really fucking pissed if somebody's trying to talk to me while I'm doom scrolling. Like what? Like I feel like they're interrupting something that I went down the rabbit hole on. And I get really angry, and it's not even their fault. They're just like, "Yo, you okay?" And I'm
Well,
like,
you would think
"What?"
after 5 or 6 times, somebody would realize maybe I shouldn't interrupt them in the middle of it, but it
Mhm.
doesn't seem to work like that.
No, and I get fucking pissed. I get fucking pissed. Or like when you finally get the balls to do something, like like real quick. Well, when I had to do papers for college, they'd be due at midnight, right? 10-page papers due at midnight. I'd be there at 10 o'clock at night typing away. And all day I was trying to prep myself to do this. And I kept procrastinating and fucking dancing in the mirror, scrolling, talking to this one, smoking a blunt, and feeding the baby, playing with the baby, looking at baby clothes. Like, but I would get it done. That's
Yeah,
the one thing about ADHDers.
yeah.
They get shit done.
And it's
When
not coming out
fire
of
is
time
under
frame.
our ass and we don't have the time to keep pushing back, that we've pushed back already and there's no more 5 more minutes or none of that, we get it done. Like sometimes at work, because I'm not, my field of paralegal shit that I do doesn't interest me anymore.
Yeah,
So I find myself doing everything but work. But then I get work done in like 1 hour, 8 hours of
yeah,
work. I get done in the last hour of the day. And it's not all the time, but I have bad days and good days. I have bad days and good days. I can't focus sometimes.
yeah.
And it's
And
frustrating. And like everyone thinks like, "Oh, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like what's wrong
yeah,
with you?" Like I got fucking issues, and then like, you know, people be like, "Oh, you use that ADHD shit too much." Like, but this is I'm trying to explain to you what's going on. Like, and it's a real fucking thing, man.
it
It's
doesn't
a
go
real
away. It
fucking
doesn't
thing.
change. Like if it's ADHD related today, and it's tomorrow, and it's the next day, just because you feel differently about it, doesn't mean the effect on us is any different. We're still there. We're still in that cycle. We're still trying to push through our own BS to get through it. And I had a lot more sympathy for other people dealing with it. Because before, as a manager, having a staff, a team of people, I could get frustrated at that too. But then, I look at them. I'm jumping subjects in the team huddle in the morning, going back and forth, and I see like okay, it's harder for them to keep up with me because I'm saying one thing 1 minute, but I've had a whole conversation in my head within 30 seconds and decided to go in a different direction because I just observed different paths that this thought would take in an instance of time and changed focus. To them, it looks like I flip flop, but I actually just gave serious thought to a different scenario and a different way of doing things. But meanwhile, for their view, which I have to remember, it just looks like he's back and forth, he's up and down.
Oh yeah, like so I'm gonna piggyback off of that because I've always done like office work. So before I came down to Florida, like I got my degree up in New York, I couldn't find a fucking job, anything related to what I wanted to do because you need experience, et cetera, et cetera. One of the other frustrating things about graduating college, you're not gonna find a job right away. Anyway, I worked for irrigation and lighting as an office manager up in North Salem. Love that place. I miss them so much. But shout out to Shoki. And all my papers would be everywhere. And my boss would be like, how the fuck can you find everything? But I knew where everything was.
Yeah.
I knew where everything was. It is a strategy. I can't call it. I am a fucking hot mess when it comes to organization. But it's my disorganization that I understand that nobody else is going to understand. Like, if you put these papers straight, I'm not going to find them. Like, I know underneath this pile, that's papers there, and that post-it's there, and this is what I got to do. I have it all, but I'm chaotic.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
chaotic.
you're organized chaos because you have your system, and same thing with me. I'm the same way. Like when it comes down to computer work, I have like Windows and this and that. I need to have 3 screens. I can't work on 2 screens, and there's 2 windows in each screen, so I can look back and forth to keep track on what I'm doing, and I can get a lot of stuff done quickly, and it's just it can definitely pull focus of going back. We talked about earlier about you going back to school, and we talked about the spectrum of sexuality. And to close up a little bit, let's talk about what our hopes are for here, what we're doing over here. And again,
Uh,
we're never going to be rich from this. It's this is not something we're
this is
doing.
not. We're doing this straight from the heart, because um, we actually thought of this. I I was going through depression really bad. I have terrible anxiety too. Like finding purpose in life and not being able to deal with life, and like really went really bad and dark for like 2 days. And John and my other best friend, uh, me and John just, well, they were there helping me get through it. And, we came up with this as a way for both of us because we're both going through things. And also to help people, because me and John are totally about helping people. Like, you can't keep it unless you give it away, because I hope that like, these were fun subjects. We're going to get into deep, dark shit eventually, like, and we're going to have people talking. I want people to be included in this. And, we want to, like I said, reach one and teach one. Like, I hope that some of my situations can grasp other people. And when we hear others, like our listeners, like, we want feedback. If you have a certain topic or anything you want to talk about, you want us to talk about, write us, let us know. Like, I want to cater our podcast to our listeners. I want to make you guys happy. And, this is how it came up. Like, this is to help us. It's like free therapy.
It is. It's cathartic. It's expressing ourselves. You'll see the posting up of the tips, ideas. These are just things that come across me throughout the day. And after talking to K-pop, I get these. This is the things that I do that sometimes work for me. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it works more than it doesn't. So these are the things that work for me. If it's something that you're doing that could work for you, great. That's what it's for. But this is for selfish reasons, but for us to work through our BS by talking about it openly. And sunlight is the greatest disinfectant of all. So
That is so crazy. That is so crazy because my friend just did my reading. Shout out to Donna. Um, she read my cards, and it told me to get out the dark and go in the sunlight. The freest natural recharger that you can get. And I did such that, and I felt a lot better yesterday. So, and I feel better today. I was really sick, guys. But I don't know. I think I'm so excited for
yeah,
more episodes, more adventures.
more details about our sick and twisted lives.
Because we're sick and fucking twisted.
Yeah, we have done some shit. I think
God. We're gonna have this podcast going on for years because there's not gonna be enough time in this lifetime.
We don't even have to be like comedians where we make shit up. Just the stuff that actually happened is enough where
Listen, everything that we talk about is true.
it's all factual. Everything.
Everything is factual. I ain't bullshitting. I don't need to add to my life. My life is fucking my life.
100%. 100%. I sometimes wonder how we survived it. But I guess
Dude.
that's part of it. You know, we'll go down memory lane. We'll talk about the stuff we did, what we learned from it, and, you know, how we are now in our 40s. Over
40's the
25.
new 20s, so we're 20, bitch.
Yeah, I identify as 20. I like it.
I identify as motherfucking 33. That's what I want to identify as.
I'll take 33. It was good.
That's my number.
Nice. So
33.
everybody, we're going to wrap up now. Thank you so much for joining us on this. If you found any information about this useful, thank you. If you found any of it upsetting, don't watch again. But it's going to be raw. It's going to be us. It's going to be people we invite. This is going to be a safe place. Safe place.
This is a no judgment zone.
No
Like, I want everyone to be open like a book because that's what I'm doing.
No judgment. That's why we're really what we said on this live right now and on this podcast is things we say personally but would not say in groups of people we don't know. So this is us being really raw about real things. Not
And
up for
there's
content.
there's gonna be really like emotional episodes too, you know, and that's why we can't give it all away right now. So
No. There's going to be a lot to come, and if you stick with us, you know, you'll learn about us. And if you want to join us, listen, this is not going to be, oh, you don't got any followers, you can't hop on here. No, I don't care who you
but
are.
no, we want guests. I want people to talk about trauma. I've already invited certain people to
Yeah.
come on the show. We'll talk about that and schedule that in. And I want to hear feedback. Give us feedback. We love you guys. And we're out.
It's K-pop in Orlando. It's Johnny from the Block in Yonkers, New York. And guys, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you soon.
Bye, babies.
Bye.
Precious trust.